you. I'm your host, Joel Metzger, and joining me on the show tonight is Sharon Torrence. She's the Public Information Officer for the Butte Fire Recovery Effort. Sharon, welcome.
Thank you.
Really glad to have you on the show, and I know you must be so busy with all of the programs that are going on to try to get this county through such a terrible event like the Butte fire.
It's been really challenging, but we've had a lot of really positive moments. If we help one person in a day, we feel like we've succeeded.
Do you think that the recovery effort is really going well, or is there a lot more organization to get in place before everything starts falling into place?
You know, I think both statements are true. From what I understand, we work closely with FEMA and California Office of Emergency Services, and both of those organizations deal with major emergencies and catastrophes. And of those that they've worked with over the years, they said that we're far ahead of a lot of the disasters that they've worked with. And as far as organization goes, I think that the effort has really pulled together. There are so many organizations out there that have come together to help Calaveras recover.
And there's one event coming up, and I know that when a lot of people see this, it may have already passed, but in case we get it on the air in time, what's the event that's coming up in the next couple days here?
We're putting on an event that we're calling Rebuilding Calaveras, and it's an open house. It's an informational open house. We'll have many professionals there. They'll all be sitting at a table individually, with information handouts that people can come and talk to them, ask their questions one-on-one, take lots of things away with them. We're going to have California Department of Insurance. I know that's kind of a biggie these days for most of the foothill areas with all the fires we've had in recent years. Insurance for homeowners is getting more expensive if you can get it at all. Yeah. And I think California Department of Insurance, that's one of the tables that I think are going to be extremely busy. They're going to be able to tell people who they can contact, where they can go, and what types of insurance might be available for them.
So when you see a fire like the Butte fire rage through a county and destroy almost 500 homes, obviously insurance providers probably would think twice about wanting to provide coverage for that type of an area, even though it's just burned and a lot of the fuel is gone. Is there such a thing as being uninsurable in a high fire-prone area? And if so, where do you turn as a homeowner who wants to rebuild there?
Evidently, there is such an area where people, before this fire, were not able to get insurance. Okay. And that's why you hear about people that in the fire lost their homes and had no insurance. And California, the state of California has an insurance that they offer, and I believe it's called something fair. I can't remember, but they'll be there to talk about it.
Right.
So, but you have to, I guess that you have to be offered some sort of insurance. I think the problem is going to be if it's affordable.
Okay. So you may be able to get insurance, but the premium may just be so high that it would be a little bit difficult for some people to even go that route. Okay, so those people are going to be there. That's obviously high priority for a lot of people. And then what are some other things that might be available? Building
department and their counterparts from state agencies will be there. A lot of people that live in the fire zone have built their homes maybe 30 years ago. And at that time, a lot of the building codes and laws were extremely different than what they are now. Now homes have to have sprinkler systems. That's one of the things. The outside pane of your windows, you have to have double pane windows. Outside pane has to be shatterproof, I believe, or be safety glass. You have to have fire-resistive roofing. You have to have driveways that are certain steepness, if that's a word.
Sure.
You have to be able to have an engine get up your driveway and be able to turn around. Things like that, that the people that lost homes are probably not aware of, that will have to be incorporated into their plan.
And so the building department can give you a lot of info.
They can give you all the new building codes and laws that have come into effect since they built their homes.
Okay. And again, what time and what day and what's the location on this one more time?
It's going to be at the Mountain Ranch Community Center or Club from 3 to 7 on January 22nd, this coming Friday.
Okay. And so, and if anybody misses that, I know that these type of events are continuing to be planned, and if people wanted to be kind of kept up to date on events they could attend, I know you are the hub of information. So what are the places where all of the materials that you prepare can be found?
They're either going to be found on our county website, Calaveras County website, or also our Facebook page.
Is that the county's Facebook page?
It is the county's. Well, no, it's actually Butte Fire Information's Facebook page. It's strictly our page. A lot of the other county government offices have their own.
Got it. Okay, so there's a specific page for the Butte Fire Recovery info. Gotcha.
There is.
And then I know that there are probably a lot of media partners who also will get the info and maybe put it in their publications as well.
We've sent out media press releases to all the local and surrounding areas, and so anything that we put out goes out to as far as we can reach.
Got it, got it. And so I wanted to give people a little bit on your background, and then we'll work back to how you got into your current gig and all of the neat things that you're working on. But let's go all the way back. So where did you grow up, and what were your interests kind of in high school? Did you know you wanted to follow the career path you did, or was it a total surprise?
Total surprise.
Okay.
Grew up in the Bay Area, went to high school in Berkeley. And I went to Santa Rosa Junior College, and then from there to Humboldt State. Wanted to teach elementary school, and had my 3 children. I have three men, and met my husband, my present husband. And at that time I was really shy and introverted, and somehow I came away from that, and now it's really hard to shut me up.
Oh, no.
I really enjoy talking, love being around people. Happened into the position with the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection. They were starting a new program called Volunteers in Fire Prevention. And I was looking for a job. I had been working for Barron's Furniture in Sutter Creek, and the position became open. I interviewed and got the position and worked there for 25 years.
Wow, that's quite a career with CDF. So CDF at the time, now Cal Fire, same organization. Okay. Right. And so when you first began, what was kind of the direction of the program? What were your main tasks?
Well, in the beginning, it was a 9-month limited term position, And I was to recruit volunteers to do educational programs for both children and adults. And the primary focus back then was defensible space and the 30 feet of clearance that you're required to, or were required to have around your house. Now it's 100 feet. And so I worked a year in Amador, and then was offered a job here in Calaveras and Tuolumne counties. And they wanted to see how the public would respond to citizen volunteers doing law enforcement type activities. And so that's where it started.
And by law enforcement activities, do you mean as though kind of enforcing the defensible space rules?
Correct.
And inspecting the lots and all of that to ensure that those rules were being followed?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Then you have a unique perspective because you have been in this industry, in this fire protection mode for many years, and yet it seems as though the fires are getting worse and we continue to see homes burn up, and the intent is to try to minimize that, but it's still happening. And so with your perspective, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like maybe more should have been done over the years, or that people aren't listening, or that the conditions are changing?
Probably a little of both, or everything. There are many areas that haven't burned in years. In Calaveras County, back when I was working, it seemed like we had a major fire every 2 or 3 years. And even back to the old Gulch fire, we were talking about that a few days ago. I thought it was 100 and some thousand acres. Well, when we looked at the history, it was 17,000 acres, which at that time was huge.
Oh, yeah.
And now, of course, with this fire, 70,000 acres and 500 and some homes, more people are moving to the interface and up into the foothills and the mountains, and building their homes in amongst the trees and the vegetation, and they want to keep it pristine. And when I was working for CDF, there was a lot of resistance from people that just didn't feel that clearing was a good thing. And I don't know if that's still the case. There's so many fire-resistive building materials that can be used now, and actually are probably the law. And if people just do the simple clearing for their defensible space, provide a safe place for firefighters to actually make a stand, keep fire from going from the ground up into the trees, get rid of that undergrowth, I think that we would maybe not be subjected to this kind of event again.
So the key thing is actually really taking that seriously each and every year and doing your part. In fact, I'll never forget driving through the edge of the burned area shortly after the containment had taken place, and seeing each home was marked with a piece of paper that said defendable 100 feet, check, yes, they did it, as in it's safe to go in here and make a stand, or not defendable. And so, someone came by and actually analyzed quickly, okay, this is good, we're safe, you can actually make a stand or not. And that was just a very real, very tangible reminder that these aren't just a bunch of rules that are put out there by some big bureaucracy for the heck of it.
That's true.
And this is for the safety of the firefighters and your home. And so I don't know if everyone gets that, but the firefighters won't even risk their lives if
no.
Why should they?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. What about this, though? When you have a firestorm that's so hot, it seems like the trees are just being turned into gas and there's just this wall of flame hundreds of feet high. Can a home that actually has the space, can that still burn with a situation with 4 years of drought and this monster firestorm? Or are you really safe no matter what?
fire kind of takes on a life of its own, and you stand a better chance if you have that defensible space. Is it going to for sure save your home? You know, there aren't any. There isn't anything that says because you did this, this isn't going to happen. No guarantees. But I was also evacuated, and I think if you feel when you're driving out of that driveway that you've done everything that you can do to protect your home, you still feel that fear, but you feel a lot better than if you hadn't done anything and there were trees, you know, with branches overhanging your house and brush growing right up to it. And I think that you just have a much more secure feeling about driving away.
How did you feel?
How did I feel?
Yeah, did you feel good?
I'd never been in that position before. I can remember telling my husband, you know, I have been to many fires and told people, you know, you're safe, your husband's safe, it's just stuff. But this was time it was my stuff. So it was scary. It was really scary. The uncertainty was awful. I can really empathize with the people that did lose their homes, because we came very close.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were just luckier than the people here in Calaveras.
Well, thank goodness that your home was still standing,
Yes.
even though it was right on the edge of the river canyon, in a very, you know, spot that could have easily gone if the wind had just shifted.
True.
So let's bring up to current. So you worked with CDF for so many years, and upon retirement from that, what did you do after that?
I worked part-time for the county. I sort of coordinated work that the crews from Vallecito Camp did around the county buildings, and some things that the CAO at the time wanted to have done. I also was a retired annuitant for CDF until they could fill my position. And I worked for a private company that sells fire-related products and equipment. So I was working kind of 3 part-time jobs.
Okay. So definitely keeping yourself busy, it sounds like.
Yes.
Okay. And then you were called upon recently after the Butte fire to get very much more involved with this public information position. How did that come about?
They were putting together a team for the recovery portion of this horrible event. And a retired battalion chief that I'd worked with at CDF was sort of putting it together along with Brian Moss and Shirley Ryan. And they knew they needed somebody to fill the information position, and the county did not have a public information officer. So they called and said, can you come help us? And what I thought was a couple of weeks has turned into several months. So.
Okay. Did you kind of go back and forth on whether this is something that you wanted to do when they first asked you?
No. After kind of going through it myself, I thought it would be something that I could offer the people that actually did lose homes my help in trying to push information out to them to find out what they needed to do to recover.
And so you are specific to the Butte fire recovery. You're not doing like any general county press release, just only the Butte fire, or is it bigger than that?
Well, if you look at what it takes for the county to recover, the whole county recovery process, almost every department is impacted. So yes, we are just working for Butte Fire Recovery, but we're doing work for Public Works, we're doing work for Health and Human Services, pushing out information on what they have available, environmental management, building department, administration. It has affected everyone.
What was the situation when you first came on board? Was there some chaos? Lots
Oh,
of...
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, it didn't take very long. Everybody pulled together, and what a great group of people. FEMA and Cal OES have been incredible. Mm-hmm. And what they have been here to do and have offered the people of Calaveras County is just mind-boggling. They have just, they've just really, if it hadn't been for them, I don't know. I don't know where we would be.
Since everything goes through you, you probably are one of the more knowledgeable people in the county about what's out there. So if I am someone who's been impacted by this fire and I still am kind of looking for help and looking for information, what are some of the things that I should really know about if I'm in that situation?
Well, what we've discovered is that the fire's been out for several months, but after losing your home, it's like a death. You have to go through that grieving process. You have to, you know, you're sad, and then you're angry, and then you have to kind of pick yourself up and shake yourself off and say, okay, what do I do now? There is so much help out there. There's the dates have passed to sign up for FEMA, but there's still help available. So this event that we have coming up, you can come there and find out that there are grants, there are loans, if you need emotional support, there is, the county has Health and Human Services people. Mm-hmm. There's a group called Calaveras Recovers. Okay. They're volunteers that have come together, and they've reached out to faith-based organizations. They're actually going to be building homes for people that were either uninsured or underinsured. Wow. There are dollars available for specific needs. Both the Amador and Calaveras, what are they called? I forgot my notes.
No.
Anyway, there are many groups out there. The Board of Realtors for Calaveras County has been incredible. They've found trailers for people that have been donated. They are buying storage sheds so that the small amount of stuff that people have been able to salvage, they can lock in these storage sheds and maybe leave their property so they can get into a warm, comfortable place. They can call the Public Information Office, and we feel that our job is not to refer them to a telephone tree. We'll make the calls, we'll find the information that they're looking for, the person that they need to talk to, and have them call you. So you have to take a step forward and be open to having somebody help you. And I know that's a really tough thing for a lot of people to do.
Yeah, I mean, that must be a barrier. There's some pride involved.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know, I can handle this on my own. And so do you see people go through kind of a change between first, oh, no, I don't want anything to do with that, and then actually maybe seeing what it's like to get some help and then actually being embraced by their community and these services? And do you see people go through a change?
I think they're coming around. There's a group in town called World Renew, and they're here to interview people, find out what their needs are, and try to connect them locally to those needs. They're not government. A lot of people are not anxious to work with the government. They might be uncomfortable or suspicious or whatever the reason. So with a volunteer group that isn't really connected to any type of governmental organization, I spoke with a woman today that really made me feel like we were definitely making some progress. She and her husband lost their home. She said that it's been really difficult for them to reach out because she said, my husband was the one that always pulled cars out of ditches and helped people, and now here we are needing help. And she had gone and done an interview with World Renew, and she said it was so good to talk to somebody not from the government, not from the county, just somebody that I could talk to and would listen to me. And so we need more of those. There are lots of people like that out there that are just now sort of waking up and realizing that there is help, and maybe now's the time.
And all they need to do is just take that first step, visit the county website, your Facebook page, call. What's the number they could call?
754-6824 or 25.
Okay.
And we'll hook them up with whoever it is that they need to talk to.
No, that's absolutely fantastic. And then just finally, how are you doing emotionally and seeing all of this pain and despair and devastation? Are you holding up okay?
I am. Like I said, if we help one person every day, we feel like we're doing our job. We're tired, like everybody, but it's a really good feeling when you can help someone.
No, absolutely. Well, I'm so glad that these services are available, and I'm so glad that they got someone with your experience to come in and really get everything organized and provide this service and keep everything organized. So thank you for what you're doing.
Well, thank you.
And thanks for joining me on the show, and I hope that we can have you back maybe when you're done, and we can look back and reminisce about how the recovery has been a success. But I know right now you're right in the middle of it all.
Well, thank you. I'd love to come back.
Okay. And thank you for joining me on this edition of Inside View. I'm your host, Joel Metzger, and I hope you join me next time.